Well, hello folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up that screen. Oh yeah, it's a trap, no doubt. NIO short report. We're going to talk all about NIO and those charming shorts out there.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap.
Yep, old Grizzly Research rears its ugly head again. I've dealt with them before. And JP Morgan came out, and also NIO came out very quickly on this. JP Morgan analyst said after the short seller report released by Grizzly Research on Tuesday, the analysts explained that the system used by NIO and WNIG is similar to ones used by OEMs when it comes to vehicle financing, that every battery held by Wuhan has a corresponding underlying subscriber. Says the firm remains positive on NIO, believing that the company's vehicle margin will hit a trough of 15.5% and then rebound strongly to 18 to 19% in the second half. It says, we view NIO as a manufacturer whose revenue and profitability is based on production and distribution, and said Plus has potential monetization of its software business in the future. And what that's all about is your good old autonomous driving. Basically, most vehicles will be able to drive themselves within 5 to 10 years, and it'll only get better over time. Probably in about a decade or so, you'll only drive when you want to. And a lot of people will still choose to drive, but a lot of people won't. But understand that software as a service, it's very profitable, and Tesla's made a lot of money with that already, with their assist driving. And that's one of the reasons I feel real good about NIO, because they're working so hard on that. They're spending a lot of money in research and development on software as a service and that autonomous driving, but it'll pay off in the long run, I believe. And NIO came out and they said the report is without merit and contains numerous errors, unsupported speculations, and misleading conclusions and interpretations regarding information relating to the company. It says the company's board, including the audit committee, is reviewing the allegations and considering the appropriate course of action to protest the interest of all shareholders, meaning they'll probably sue them. And that would be similar to what TrueLeaf did. And I went through the same crap with MP Materials. They put out a short report on MP and tried to drive it down, and it worked for a little while, and then MP came roaring back, because MP Materials is a great company that's very profitable, but they had run up, so they wanted to push them down and make some quick money. And when they came out on MP Materials, this was their response. Yeah, MP didn't sweat them too much. And they also came out and tried to say that NIO really only had 100,000 vehicles out on the road when it's over 200,000. So that's a tell right there. When they start making ridiculous comments like that are just offhanded, that's obvious. And as you can see on the chart, what perfect timing. When you think about this, look at what they did. Did they release the short report right here, which would have been, what, about a month ago? No. What did they do? They waited till this thing ran up almost 100%, and then they launch it right in this area right here. Why would you do that? Because you know there's almost certainly going to be a natural pullback anyway. So what's the perfect time to do this? Once it starts turning down a little bit, it's like, oh crap, now we can really pressure it down and put a lot of risk in there. Understand what a short seller does. Now I'm just talking about regular shorts right now, okay? They basically rent the stock from somebody that's holding it long term, and they run off to the market and they sell that stock immediately. And what does that do? That puts downward pressure on the stock itself, because you've got the buy and the ask. And of course, now there's all of this quantity of shares available to buy. So that again puts that downward pressure and lowers the price. So they're involved in the manipulation that way. But what these short seller reports do, they send it out to the world to see, oh no, there's something wrong with the stock. Then they're putting all kinds of downward pressure on it anyway with their short selling. And what they're trying to do is panic the market to where everybody goes, oh gosh, I got to get out of NIO immediately, or MP or whoever. And so they try to have that downward track, and then the panic hits, and then it can really drop. So what they've done is they've sold it here, rented it from somebody for a period of time, and then they try to buy it back here, because remember, they have to buy it back and give it back to the original owner. This is not a real sell right here. This is fake, basically. I mean, it's technically allowed, but it's basically a fake sale, because they're going to buy it back. But what they're trying to do is push it way down. Then they get to keep that whole difference. All of this is theirs. Then they run back and give the stock back. And they had to pay a little percentage for that rent. So that's what they're up to. It's a money-making deal, no doubt. And it's been effective in the past. They're not as effective as they used to be at it because people are kind of onto them a little bit. But like I say, this does not shock me in the slightest after a 100% run-up. And you look right now, the stock's only down 3% after running up 100%. So a 3% drop after a short seller report, are you kidding me? That's nothing. And the market's down a little bit anyway. So this is, it almost looks like the NEO shareholders have pretty much just done this. Yep, they sent those bears flying. So I'm not worried about a little 3% dip. That's nothing. Now, the big things coming up for NEO that are really important will obviously be the June delivery numbers, which are coming up in just a couple of days. That'll help us understand what's going on with the lockdowns with NEO. And then later on in the year, we'll get a second quarter report on their financials. I'm not over expecting on that. Like I said, these horrible lockdowns, which have been a complete waste of time, by the way, it's not going to stop this newest version of the Rona. No country's doing it but China. But it does appear they are removing those restrictions. And I would think over time they'll pretty much have to because it's just not going to work. But those are the type of numbers that are going to matter. Like I said, I don't see a short seller report being all that worthwhile. One of the other reasons that I feel good about NEO long term, besides the fundamentals, which I think are going to be really good, when you look at what's happened with the mid caps, and NEO would be a mid cap company, it's down to about the lowest it's been since the Rona, almost to the peak of the fear down here as far as PE ratios. And these mid caps are not going to stay down here forever. At some point, they're going to get back up into the middle of the range where they normally live, up in the 16 and 17. So there's a lot of pent up demand right here and almost like a spring effect. It may come down a little bit more. You can't pick the bottom, but I feel real good about the small caps and the mid caps because you can see on the small caps, they're down to the lowest they've almost ever been. And mid caps aren't far behind right here, and this is what I'm interested in. Like I say, well, I need to see an improvement on May. We're hearing anywhere from 9,000 up to 13,000 deliveries in June, and that would be nice to see. At least 9,000 is sort of the minimum I want to see, but gosh, it's so hard to tell with lockdowns. It's almost impossible, but that's going to be an important number. So I look for a nice rebound in that sector, and like I say, NEO's fundamentals I think are good. So overall, I'm not going to sweat this report at all. All right, folks, and that's NEO today. And like I said, it's a trap. That's my opinion. Like I say, this is not financial advice, and I'm not an expert on this, but I've seen it before, and I'm not worried about it. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover NEO. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.